Hey everybody, welcome back to another Flipping Tables. My name is Sean.
And I'm Tico.
Today we've got yet another Kickstarter prototype for you. This is for a game coming to Kickstarter on September 15th. It is Instant Warfare. This is a very fast-paced 2 to 8 player game. Very simple to learn, and I found it really fun to play, but the concept behind it is so simple, and yet it's really fun to play and tactical.
Well, it's mildly tactical in how you play your cards, and a lot of luck with rolling.
That's true. So let's have a look at the components. Here we have a deck of action cards that are going to be drawn after each one of your turns. We've got a whole bunch of cool little clear discs that are going to be used. These represent troops, and each player gains a troop card. So you have different troops in your army. The object is to be the last one standing. So of course you have Air Force, tank, submarine, gunship, helicopter, and infantry. Each player starts with 24 of these tokens, and you can stack these tokens. These represent the troops of each of these types, and you can stack them on your board in any way you want. We've chosen to basically go ahead and put 4.
Yeah, they recommend to evenly spread out all 24 amongst the 6 troop types.
Yeah, so you're trying to knock out your opponent by attacking specific troop types. And we're going to explain in just a second how that gets done once I finish.
You made a big mess, didn't you?
Of course I made a mess. So let's just move on ahead. So now that I've undone my mess, we can start. And all we do in a 2-player game, it's the 2 of us together.
It's just back and forth.
But if you were playing 4 or more players, you actually add in political alignment cards, and this just adds more to the game. For example, if you happen to take the free market ideology here, then something happens if you die. You basically come back with more troops, and there is a change to the game. In this particular one, you can hold 4 action cards, where normally in a 2-player game
3.
You can only have 3 cards. So this just adds a little bit more, it lets the game go a little bit longer, and there's cards such as you can be an anarchist, a fascist, socialist, capitalist, etc. And you would get one of these cards randomly, and it just gives you an ability when you're playing 4 or more players. But we didn't play with those.
Get it together, Sean.
We just played 2 players. So you start by deciding which troop I'm going to attack. I want to attack Tico. I'm going to attack your infantry.
No, not my infantry.
So I then I use this die right here, which has different icons on. They're kind of clear die. They're sometimes a little bit hard to see what the token is. That is a miss. If I roll, my turn's over. I've missed. If I roll this particular one, it means I hit. That's just a regular
Basic
hit.
1 damage hit.
And then if I roll this one with the skull on it, it is a critical hit, or as they call it, a deadly shot. If you get a deadly shot, then you get to roll this die, which has different shot types on it. There's 6 different types, and that determines what that special shot is according to the rules. So you have a grenade, bombs, missiles, pistol, bullets, or torpedo, and that die tells you what is going to happen when you get that deadly shot. Some of those deadly shots can't be defended against with a die. You may need an action card to defend against them.
And if not, on defense, you actually get the defense die. And again, you've got your reflect, your special ability, your block 1, your revenge, and again, that lovely little miss.
That's right. Now let's talk quickly about that special ability. The special ability again it's not on here, but it's on the player card. So on the player card, under each of the infantry types or each of the troop types, you can see on infantry it says Steel 2. Air Force, -1 to all troops. Tank is Heal 2. Submarine, Revenge 3. Gunship, -1 to all players, and helicopter, Reflect 2. That is what happens if you roll the special defense. So if Tico was attacking my infantry and I rolled special defense, then I get to actually steal 2 health from his board and put it on mine. -1 to all troops on the Air Force means I actually do damage to all of his troops, and so on. That's a special, basically a special defense. So I've defended against the attack, but I've done something special in return as well.
So you take no damage plus the extra
effect. And that also
the access to those special is what determines kind of where you're thinking about where do I want to put my troops at the beginning. If I want, like, you could literally take all 24 and stack them on top of tank if all you want is a heal 2 special ability. Because the heal 2,
You're right.
you basically take 2 tokens from the bank and place them anywhere on your board. Right? So you could start with everything on tank, forcing everyone to attack your tank, and whenever you roll special, you can then essentially add troops to other places.
Or back to your tank as well.
Or if you want to have more of a offensive, you can go with, say, the helicopter, which is going to reflect damage back to the people if you get a special.
Yeah. In a larger player count game too, the gunship is really valuable because that does damage back to all of the other players. So if you're playing, a larger 4 or 5 player game, everybody's taking that damage.
Yeah. So I would say, okay, Tico, I'm going to attack your infantry. I'm going to roll this die here. And I happen to hit, just a regular old hit. So Tico is going to roll the defense die, and he completely defended it, so takes no damage. At the end of my turn, I take an action card. Now these action cards have different abilities. You can only have 3 in your hand. So a lucky shot. This basically, I can turn a miss. If I happen to roll and I got a miss, I can turn it into a lucky shot. I can turn it into a hit. Or I can, if someone attacks me with missiles, I can just immediately stop the missiles. I can do an evasive action, so I can use this, instead of rolling the defense die, I can basically turn their hit into a miss. And there's cards all throughout, different types of blocking damage or surprise attack. You can just, instead of rolling a die, you can immediately say, I'm going to do a torpedo attack. And you can play those cards, only 3 in your hand. These can be played during your turn or at any time to defend.
In response to an attack.
And that is instant warfare. That is, you're going back and forth, deciding who to attack, rolling for damage.
Just trying to take out all of your opponent's troops.
Yeah, trying to take, as soon as one of these, as soon as your whole thing is empty, you're out of the game. And last man standing is the winner.
And what I really love is how this can be expanded. There are some expansions that they're planning as well.
Yes, yeah, different themes. There's going to be a mythical theme with centaurs and weather systems.
Effects,
There's going to be a feudal with like samurai, and then there's going to be a cursed one, which is like werewolves and such.
Yeah.
And then there's group warfare, which actually takes all of those and puts them together into a huge one.
One big fight.
And with a boss battle for a single-player solo campaign.
Yeah.
Which is a very cool idea.
Really, really neat concept of being able to actually sit down. It's a small box, so it's great. So you can bring that and bring it out and play solo as well.
And I do want to say what I love about this. This is a Canadian-built game from a gentleman in Calgary. It's from Stiltskin Publishing. So you should definitely check it out. I really enjoyed this game. I had a lot of fun playing. It's really great back and forth. A lot of thinking, when do I use this card? When, defense cards, or when do I use the card instead of rolling?
Right.
And really whittling down your opponent to win the game. And of course, I won the game.
A little bit.
I won a little bit. So
I liked it too. Particularly the strategy involved in the action cards, because you're only holding on to 3. You're like, which one do I? When you get a 4th card, you have to discard one, and it's like, well, I'm going to get rid of this block missiles. Hopefully, he doesn't roll block missiles.
Exactly.
Immediately, block missiles came up, and I didn't have my proper defense. But really strategic in keeping the right cards in your hands.
Yeah. Instant Warfare, coming to Kickstarter September 15th. We're also going to have an interview with Taylor, who's the creator of this game, so check out our episode of Kicking Tables coming soon for that. Other than that, thanks so much for joining us for this episode of Flipping Tables. We'll see you next time. Oh, you stopped my missile.
I stopped the
missile. You suck.
Yeah.
But you don't suck if you subscribe.
Well, I didn't know we were going cheesy with the end. And we're doing a freeze frame? We got to talk about this beforehand, so I know that we're doing a freeze frame. Otherwise, I have no idea.